the play-by-play voice of the Clemson Tigers. Don Munson joins us, and as I said earlier, Don, familiar with our own voice of the Cowboys, Dave Hunziker, who I work with. They were both calling basketball back in the day, Dave at Radford and Don at UNC Asheville. He joins us now. Don, how are you today?
I am good. Yeah, I actually, Dave, one time bailed me out during an ice storm, or I rolled into town without any power at the hotel and stuff. And thank goodness for Dave. We actually stayed together for a little while and stuff like that. Went over and did a ball game. So Dave's is a beauty now. He's one of the best.
He told me about that. He said, "Yeah." He goes, "Don was in a. He stayed over there. He ate with us, and then we went and did the ball game." So he remembered that. Hey, let's get right to it. I just had Greg Sharp on, the voice of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and he
Yep.
said, the last 24 hours he thinks has made a difference in his league, the Big Ten, and in college football with the players and now with some of the coaches stepping up as well and voicing how they want to play. And that we want to play push really came from Clemson. And I know that Trevor Lawrence gets a lot of the credit, the quarterback, and he is the voice or not the voice, but the face of college football right now. But also a running back, Darian Rencher, who I hear a lot of good things about, is just a great kid, that he was a big part of this as well. Talk a little bit about Clemson being the center of the player voice right now to play.
Well, and it's what's funny about it is that normally, and this goes all the way back to 2010. And it's not Coach Sweeney that would shut it down. It would be the players themselves. The seniors would vote to shut down social media at this point in time. Once camp started, we're all used to social media being shut down. This year, the senior class voted to keep social media open. They will shut it down the day before a game or the day of the game and that kind of stuff, and then open it back up. So this is an anomaly for Clemson to be able to have their players to have social media access. But as Darian said yesterday after practice, he said, that was one of the things that we as a senior class went to Coach Sweeney and talked to him about and said, this is the reason we want to do it this way and voted this way. And Coach said, listen, I'm fine with that. That's what y'all want. And so it's just funny the way that it worked. And this, I guess, is 2020 in a nutshell. I mean, it just continues to be a little thing that's out of kilter, that would be away from the normal.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because Chuba Hubbard, who has been very active on his social media, I think a lot of
Well,
people,
and Chuba was on the call with them on Sunday. I mean,
yes,
he was on that call with them.
and
That was, and the only reason they're able to do that is, I think as a lot of these guys start following each other on the social media channels.
well, and Chuba had shut his social media down at about the middle of July. He opened it back up with the hashtag We Want to Play. Give us a sense of. I mean, we all know Trevor Lawrence. He's what you want a quarterback to look like. When he walks out there, it's like, yeah, wish we had one of those. And then again, like I mentioned with Darian Rencher, I hear so many good things about what a great team leader he is, a great guy to have on your football team. Give us a little sense of, in your interaction with those guys, what they're like to deal with.
Well, I mean, both of them are dreams to be able to work with. Obviously, when Trevor got here, all the fanfare was coming, with him. Probably that was more local. I don't know. Obviously nationally, he was considered, one of the top three quarterbacks coming out of high school. But certainly, I think when you get a kid like that at your school, it's also just a local kid. I mean, he's no more than 80 miles from campus, is where he grew up. So when you have things like that happen, I think obviously locally there's a lot more eyes that are on him. But certainly as his freshman season took off with the Kelly Bryant situation, and then he took over the reins and led Clemson to a national championship. He jumped right into that, and I thought that he handled it really well as a freshman. Kind of a quiet guy, to be really honest with you, not a guy that is seeking out microphones and that kind of thing. Although now I believe that has changed. I think that his just self-awareness and self-confidence has just grown and just grown immensely here over, and particularly like the last 8 months. I would tell you, again, going to a national championship game, having all the focus that was on him going into that LSU game certainly after the Ohio State game, but then it carried, and I think he's just done a tremendous job. And Darian is a guy who's, again, a local product, was a walk-on, earned a scholarship, but he was a guy that even when he was in high school, I mean, he was well thought of. I think that in his high school, he was always one of these dominating personalities in high school, and that certainly has continued on the Clemson campus.
Don Munson with us just for another minute. Obviously, Clemson is the favorite this year in college football with Lawrence at quarterback and all the other talent that Dabo Swinney has in place on his football team. And by the way, we probably have crossed paths in more ways than one, because I know Dave was hired by the same athletic director, Terry Don Phillips, and Terry Don and I were very close when he was at Oklahoma State. So, and he hired obviously Dabo Swinney. So I check in with Terry Don quite often. But the excitement, if we play football, which I'm hoping we do, the excitement, which I'm sure it's that way every year now at that program, but this is a really exceptional football team Clemson's got ready to play this year.
Yeah, this team has the ability maybe to be the best that Coach Swinney has had in his time. And that's saying a ton, because Coach has been very fortunate here particularly in the last 5 years, to have some really, really good programs. But just because of everything that's coming back offensively, believe me, defensively they are going to be ultra good, because there's just some new faces on it, even though they're young new faces, but they are just uber talented. So yeah, this 2020 Clemson team has a chance to do some really special things. And I'm like you, just give us a chance to get on the football field and go out and prove it. I think it's all that anybody wants to ask.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Don, this morning it was pouring rain here in Oklahoma, and as I was leaving Edmond to drive up to Stillwater, I was about to turn the corner toward the interstate, and I see this huge rainbow, and I rolled my window down, took a picture of the rainbow, and when I got to a stopping point, I put that picture up on my Twitter and said, I hope this is a sign for college football. Hashtag we want to play. Hashtag we want to broadcast. Because that's what people ask me all the time. They say, you're really gung-ho about this needs to happen. And I said, well, I think it needs to happen for a lot of reasons, but I'll be being selfish. It's what we do. We broadcast games and we enjoy it. So, yeah, we would rather broadcast games than not.
Yeah, it's a job, and I think that sometimes people forget that those of us that are in this business. Now, is it a great way to make a living? Absolutely. It's a wonderful way to make a living, but it's also a job. And I want to play because I like my job, and I want to keep my job, and I want my job to continue to be there. So absolutely, I'm looking forward to a season hopefully getting here and seeing some action. And we're supposed to start the week of September the 12th here in the ACC, and I'm just praying that we get to that point.
Now, Don, I'm glad we hooked up again. I appreciate your contributions, and let's good luck to all of us this season.
No doubt, and feel free to call on me anytime that you all want to. Tell Dave I said hello, and maybe, you just never know, maybe we'll see each other on down the road here in 2020.
It would be great, because I can't think of Terry Don started the movement here of wear orange. There was a big part of his, because orange and black, but orange became the predominant color under Terry Don. I can't think of a game in the country that would have more orange in it than Oklahoma State and Clemson.
Well, we have solid Orange Fridays here at Clemson because of Terry Don Phillips, and he's one of those guys that, believe me, he's been very big and instrumental in my career. So he is just at the top of the ladder when it comes to athletic directors. But I'll make sure next time I see him, I'll make sure that that we run into one another and we're able to talk to one another on the radio.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it, Don. Thanks.
All right. Appreciate you having me
All
on.
right.
Let me spread a little gospel of the Clemson Tigers. Go Tigers.
There you go. Don Munson, voice of the Clemson Tigers.